I like Jack Dorsey, but for me, Bitcoin is not failing if it's not used as a mean of payment. As long as it keeps the store of value narrative and is working for like 8 billion people as savings technology. I don't care if I cannot buy coffee. But again, for other person, it's like the most important thing. And that's for me the beauty. Nobody will know what exactly is Bitcoin because each one of us has different idea behind it. And for me, again, it's very important that we keep this idea that is responsibility on us. And that's why maybe I still believe that it's important to have the self-custody. Because imagine in 10 years, we just gave everything to Saylor and to ETF and Wall Street and big institution and sovereign fund. Yeah, maybe Bitcoin is 1 million, but at the end of the day, if we just have the wrappers or we have the ETF or we have the MicroStrategy, we are all still trapped in the fiat mentality. We have more dollars, yes, but we are all still in this kind of fiat mentality that is at the end of the day government-backed. So that's why I still think that it's important to, even if it's more complicated, if it's more hard, to go back to the real roots of Bitcoin and still try to preach those features. But I agree with you, Diego. It's for the hyper Bitcoinization is we need to go on the other side as well.
Hello, this is the Bitcoin Libertarian, and here we are in our new setup, our new studio. Now I'm together with Diego. He's not anymore from his house, with a new episode of Bitcoin Treasury Company Report. And with us, we have our friend Marco Battistoci. How are you doing, Marco?
Hi guys, I'm doing great, and yeah, I'm seeing the new setup for you, so it's great, and I like the bull, the golden bull. So you will tell me more about it.
There is no space for birds over here.
This is, yeah, as Diego said, this is the key. The first thing that we bought for the studio was the bull, because there is a lot of FUD, a lot of bearish sentiment, people saying that Bitcoin is going to go to 20K, that Strategy is going to go bankruptcy. And for us, we are super bullish on Bitcoin, on Strategy, of course, in the long run. And that's why we have the bull. And Diego, how are you doing here?
Doing very good. It took a little bit to arrive here to Hong Kong. It's a Saturday, almost evening here, but we are ready to see what was the news about the treasury companies and strategy for this week.
Yes.
On top
sentiment,
of
guys, is on the floor.
Yeah, Bitcoin's going up, down, range. What is happening?
Yes, let's move to the first topic that we have for today. Finally, Saylor announced the green dot. Usually on Sunday night in Hong Kong, he says tomorrow is going to be a good day for a green dot, for a orange dot. But this week, he said a green dot, and everyone was asking themselves what he was doing, what was going to do. Some of the people were saying that this was going to be like dumping Bitcoin, selling Bitcoin. There was all of this FUD that they were going to sell Bitcoin, but Saylor came with a new strategy to attack all these bears that are putting doubts on him.
I'm gonna throw what was my speculation on that day. I thought it was about doing buybacks. I was pretty much convinced that the green dot would mean that we're gonna start doing buybacks of the stock with the new issues of fiat currency, but I was wrong. So it was a different strategy. I think it's more appealing to the rating agencies and more about Wall Street than anything else. In general, it looks like it makes sense, but let's see, Marco, let's dive into the details.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, he disclosed this alien technology, and I think he loves this picture. He was very proud of sharing with Fong this aliens technology, and yeah, I think it makes sense not for Saylor and maybe not even for Fong, because they are 100% sure that they can find a way to raise capital even in a very negative sentiment with an MNAV below 1. But the market is still uncertain about strategy, about the solvency of those dividends in the future. So I think they really listen to the investors. They really listen to institutions. And that's why they decided to do this 21 months buffer, these 21 months of future dividends that they already raised, just to calm the FUD, just to say, guys, look, probably you don't understand exactly what we are doing here. It's a new strategy that we started in 2025. We have tons of Bitcoin, but yes, maybe let's put a small battery just in case, and just to stop this insane FUD that is circulating on strategy. So I think Saylor is not happy, but he has to do what the market sometimes requests, and also maybe it will be helpful for the S&P and maybe other agency to upgrade a bit the credit stance for strategy that now is at B-. Maybe with this battery and with this 21 months buffer, it can be reviewed in the future to the upside. And maybe with this buffer, they can also do the credit rating per instrument, because now the S&P gave the credit rating for the entire MSTR, so for the company. Saylor, I think he wants to have the credit rating per instrument. So maybe it's something that the credit agencies and the institutions requested, this cash buffer. So I think it's positive if Bitcoin goes to a bear market to see 21 months strategy safe, and we will see how it will play out. My personal take is that he's not using those 21 months to pay next dividend. This is a reserve, a permanent reserve, just in case the MNAV goes below 1, they will tap it. If not, they will keep business as usual, in my view.
Yeah. So what is a little bit ridiculous on the dashboard of Strategy right now is that it mentions, let me check it again, US dollar months of dividend coverage 21.4, BTC years of dividends coverage 72.2 years.
Years, yes.
So point is, for Bitcoiners, probably for Saylor, this is totally ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it was apparently absolutely necessary for the credit agencies to consider the company in a different way, since now at least you show that you have some US dollar reserves. But in reality, when you come back to first principle thinking, it's okay, it's fine to think about for how long you can go with all your obligations covered, right? But as Saylor was thinking, the collateral is Bitcoin, and we are fine for 72 years. So after the pressure, it could make a little bit of sense to say, okay, let's split it up into something that for traditional finance, it makes sense. 21 months of dividends coverage in USD. And let's keep the other part of the story, which is the 72 years of actual coverage for the people who understand how this dynamics works.
Yes, I think that I think this move is, again, to how to say in English, to shut mouths that the FUD, the bears that are attacking. I think that he's receiving a lot of attack from Wall Street, from the legacy finance, because they are understanding what Saylor is doing. They are understanding that Saylor is going to become, that strategy is going to become a Bitcoin bank, and it's going to make all these legacy bankers go out of business. So I think that they are attacking him, and that's the way that he has to counterattack and say, okay, you are telling me that I'm going to sell Bitcoin because I need money. Here you have the money that we need for the dividends. In fact, they were saying Saylor was going to sell Bitcoin. He bought another 130 Bitcoin, and the whole amount of Bitcoin is 650,000 for strategy. I think that Saylor is a chess player. He is a couple of moves ahead of his haters, and this is, again, besides the price, besides the downtrend of the stock price of this year, I'm super bullish with strategy. So it's a master plan that Sailor is executing.
So regarding the current rating, they give us originally a B minus. Do you think, Marco, this is going to change after the setting up of this US dollar reserve? And also, why would it be important that this rating is spread across all the different instruments instead of a general one like it's right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it won't change in the short term. So they just issued probably last month the B minus. Probably they do this review every, I don't know, probably every quarter or maybe even less. So maybe next time, maybe next year, they will do a review of strategy and maybe consider a better credit rating as a whole for the company. But yes, Sailor stressed this point that is important also for them to give more clarity on the specific instruments. Normally in finance, you have all the tranches of debt for these massive companies that are rated with different credit ratings so that the investor can easily understand which bucket they want to buy. So I think it's a first step to have the B minus for the company. This battery, I think it's useful for them to go again to the credit rating agency and say, look, we are listening to you. We are more compliant to your practices. So now please go also and check our instruments, because for them it would be very important to have, like, I don't know, like Stretch or Strife with a better credit rating, because it's on the top of the capital structure, and maybe go down to STRD with something close to the stock. So maybe B minus is okay for STRD, but for Stretch or for Strife, it should make sense to have a better credit rating as of today, because it's over collateralized compared to STRD, for example. So I think within the instruments, the end goal for Sailor is to have for each one a specific credit rating. So I'm not sure if it will happen in the short term, probably not. But I think it will be instrumental for them for the next years. This strategy, guys, I mean, it's a new one. They just launched in 2025. It's not even 1 year. So I think we need to give some time for the company, some time to the investors, some time to the agencies to digest, to understand, and to be on top of that. I mean, S&P or Moody's, it's not like us, following mainly one or two companies. They are like very bureaucratic, a lot of things that needs to go on the traditional sense. So we need to give some time also for to the quote unquote like the other side of the chessboard to understand what's going on.
How about the other thought that I heard about was trying to compare MicroStrategy collateral structure in the sense that now that you are creating these credit products versus the current fractional reserve system. So just to recap, in the fractional reserve system, in general around the world, the ratio is something like 9-1, which means the bank can lend you 9 times the amount of reserves or collateral that they have. And that is legal. That is the legal current structure. On the other hand, you have a company like Strategy, where your collateral is almost the opposite. It's 6-1. But 6-1, then don't be confused with this. The fractional reserves only requires 10% of your capital to lend 9. In the case of Strategy, they are being these instruments are collateralized the opposite of this, not 9-1 by 1-6. So it's super over collateralized, but maybe people don't wrap their head around how different it is in terms of how much solvent the company is actually. So and it was also another thing that that came to my attention was because Fernando yesterday was with Jemmy in the Roxon podcast, and one of the things that she was asking was about the FAD from the MSCI that they are going to delist strategy because of this idea that they are becoming like a bank. So I did a little bit more of research on that because she was worried about, well, this fad is gonna be terrible for MicroStrategy because if they are delisted from this one, it's gonna create a big fad. But
But it's
actually,
already 2 months old, guys. This information came out like 50 days ago. Yeah, so I think the price already discounted this potential exclusion.
But my idea was the following. See, let's think, see if this makes sense. Trying to, because analyzing FAD, it's just FAD. It's a sentiment over there. Who knows if it is true or not? Who knows if it's going to have any effect on the market or not? First principle tell you, okay, what could be the issue? The issue could be that MicroStrategy drains out of this influx of funds from this index. Now, second question is, okay, how much is that actually? Let's quantify it. So that was something like 2 billions in the 2 or 3 years that strategy is there. So if you do a normalization of that, it could be something like 60 million per month. Obviously, it wasn't regularly, but average, it was something like 60 million per month. Now, ask the third question, how much inflows strategy is bringing from just from the preferred stocks? Is 9 times that volume of money. So when you compare both things, the FAD on this side, oh, we're going to lose this 60 million per month. On the other hand, you have a business structure that allows you to compensate 9 times higher than that. So what is the FAD about? I don't understand why that could be a problem if it wasn't, right? But as you mentioned, it's all news. So probably it's already pricing in also.
Yeah, I mean, on that scale, it doesn't seem like a big deal, as you said, Diego. I mean, it's for sure it's something on the market to pay attention, because when you see these big indexes removing a company, others like asset managers or other people managing big money maybe start to think, yeah, maybe I'm missing something. So maybe you just put this on a blacklist or on hold situation because you see like JP Morgan putting like bad reports outside, or MSCI, which is Morgan Stanley, putting out this update on their index. To me, to be honest, it's something like coordinated, as many from the MSTR True North crew and other people on X are pointing out. All the timing is very, very unusual. Everything is like very coordinated in a very short period of time with very bad sentiment all together pointing to strategy. And again, it's something that happens all the time on markets. So to me, it doesn't change nothing. Even if they exclude strategy, those passive index fund is like, as you said, around 2 billions. Maybe, yeah, in the short term, it's another 10-15% down. Okay. I'm happy about this? No, but who cares? The strategy is clear. And I think it's just the next step to prove those index that they are wrong. In the long term, they are wrong, and they will realize sooner or later. So,
yeah,
yes. So yeah, I think that all the FAD, all the attacks that the haters are doing to Saylor shows that he is on the right way. Of course, no financial advice, but I'm super bullish in the long run. Probably, as you said, in the short term, can go down, can keep going down, 10, 15, 20%. I don't know. Nobody knows. But on the long, we need to, Saylor always talks about the long term. He talks about 10-year time, 20 years time. So that's the vision that we have to do. Of course, the day traders, they analyze by the price and the movements, but he's building an amazing machine. He's revolutionizing the finance world, and he's going to win. I have no doubt.
and guys, yeah, let me add another part, because I listened yesterday to Fong Lee doing like a live interview on some US media. He pointed out very clearly that back in 2022, I was not in the trade on MSTR back then, but their average cost for the Bitcoin they had on the balance sheet was around $30,000 when Bitcoin plunges in November 2022 to 17,000. So in that, we already have like a business case in which they survived the drawdown of almost 50% of the price of Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Fast forward to today, their cost basis is around 73, 74,000, and Bitcoin is now trading at 89. So they still have in this, it seems to be a crazy bear market, like apocalyptic scenario. They are several billions in the green, in unrealized profit. And they survive a minus 50% back in 2022 without the preferred, with all the situation that the company was less stable.
There was a problem with the camera, but we have the bull, and we are going to continue. This is
No
proof of
problem.
work. We promise we are going to keep improving week by week. We have a lot of time to do the stress test, and next year everything is going to be perfect. So let's recap, Marco.
Yeah, no, we were discussing about the fact that Strategy already survived a very stress test for their Bitcoin holdings, because back in 2022, I think around November, their average cost for Bitcoin was around 30,000, and Bitcoin dipped and went down to 17,000, which is almost a 50% drawdown. And what? They survived. They went, their NAV compressed a lot. It was way below 1. But still, they keep moving forward with their strategy. They survived. They have been much, much stronger today. The capital structure is better. They have much more capital on their own balance sheet. And today, the average cost is around 74,000, and Bitcoin is trading right now at 90, 89. So again, even though it seems like a brutal bear market, an apocalypse, it's still okay. They are still with a lot of billions of unrealized profit. And again, the stress test in 2022 was much, much brutal than the one that is currently happening. So I think they are going to be fine.
Yes, I think so, and I think that Saylor put this on a post on X, that he said in 2022 or something like that, we were like 50% in non-realized losses, and what we did, we bought more Bitcoin.
More
So
Bitcoin, yeah.
he's like saying, nothing stopped this train. Let's quote Lynn Alden. Nothing stopped this train, and yeah, these stress tests are good to show the resilience. And again, we are super bullish. I don't know you. I'm sure you both are super bullish on a strategy as well. No financial advice, but let's fight against the FUD and the bears.
Yes, as with any investment, if you don't have a long time horizon view, it could get complicated, especially with all the FUD around. Most people that are just involved in trading, they might tell you, "Well, the stock is down 50% year to date," and that looks really brutal. But for us who have a long time horizon, long time meaning a 4 to 10 years horizon on the investment, 50% in 1 year, it is still brutal, but we have the conviction to keep supporting the idea and supporting also this innovation in the financial markets. Also, because of the transparency, I don't think there is another company that is more transparent than Strategy in informing all the key metrics of the company, all the future plans, even explaining for other companies to replicate. This is an open source code to replicate the strategy, and it's done transparently. Meeting after the earning meetings. Now even there was one in the last week. So they are very communicative and transparent with what they are doing. So that's why we are in for this in the long run.
Yeah, guys, can I share something unrelated, very unrelated, because it's Tesla, but just to give some perspective to what we are just Diego said. So this is Tesla charts. Tesla is okay. It's still like a company that is not well understood probably by the market, because they still say, yeah, Tesla producing cars, so YDP is so elevated, blah, 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 which is not true, because Tesla is AI, Tesla is robotic, that applies to cars today. In the future, they will apply to other technology, etc. But the point is, Tesla, which is a 1.5 trillion company, Strategy is now around 60 billion. So it's like 20 times larger in terms of market cap. They had like few months ago, maybe 1 year ago, like a drawdown of 56%. And it's a company that is much, much bigger, much more, well understood than probably Strategy. Is 20 times larger, and yet they had like a 56% correction. So for me, that Strategy now has like a 65 from the very top. That was like a few hours. The $540. Maybe it lasts for, I don't know, 15 minutes. So again, now maybe we're down 60 something percent from the top. But again, Tesla did the same. So for me, Strategy is just, it went too high. It went too euphoric before. Now there is this new distribution. And again, it's normal in every hyper growth tech stock, even in the Mag 7 with Tesla. So I think, again, if we believe that the strategy is unique, that we believe in Bitcoin, and that is a long-term play, I think it's much better to enter at 1x MNAV at 160 or 170 per share. Just keep stacking the Satoshi, and just keep stacking MicroStrategy shares if you believe in this idea. And yeah, I think it's just normal market behavior and market correction.
Yeah, exactly. You can also point out to the chart of Meta, and you will find something pretty similar. It was brutal during the times of the attempt to go for the metaverse.
Meta, okay, I was expecting Meta Planet, sorry.
No, no,
No,
Meta,
Meta, yeah, sure.
right? So that's the kind of volatility that big tech stocks have nowadays. It's pretty common. So imagine
Yeah,
the strategy for sure is going to go through something like that in the next years.
yeah, this one. So yeah, this is Meta, so Facebook, the largest conglomerates on social media, messaging, etc. So I think here, yeah, they have like a massive 76%
There you go. But
from
everything back.
400 to, yeah,
That was in the case of Meta was more about the decision to abandon the idea of the metaverse
yeah,
that sent them back up again. In the case of strategy, it's also, I guess, related to controversial figures. Consider that the leaders of these three companies, Elon, Saylor, and Zuckerberg,
yeah,
especially the first two, are very controversial figures. So they are polarizing. They are creating. They are separating two different worlds with different ideas. So what you have to ask is, what's the company doing? Because in the case of Tesla also, it happened during some of the earning calls last year. After the earning calls, the price of the stock tanked very aggressive, like 20% in 1 week or something like that. And so the question was, what happened? Did Tesla stop producing cars, robots, AI, all they do? Or it was just fad? Someone on Wall
yeah.
Street picked up some kind of news that they don't like it, and they shorted, or they just bad influence the market.
I remember last year was the excuse was that their earnings were less. They sell, I don't know, they have to sell, I don't know, 10,000 cars and they sell 9,000, something like that. That was the fact. And also with the strategy happened the same, because I think that the stock going down was after the earning call that we streamed. That was that earning call that they showed the unrealized earning from Bitcoin, and then it went down. So yeah, I think it's all fat. With Facebook, it's different because I think that the stock showed
the failure of the metaverse. Remember that Zuckerberg, they went all in with the metaverse. In fact, they changed the name of the company to Meta, and the metaverse was a completely failure. But with Tesla and with strategy, is more related to fad, is more related of the dinosaurs of Wall Street don't understanding what they are doing. Most of the people analyze Tesla, compare Tesla with Ford because Tesla makes cars, and for strategy they don't even know what strategy does. So that's the thing. And let me share something that I saw the other day, and I shared on X. Let me check this. This is something that this guy, Crypto Fennery, whatever they say, the biggest move in the crypto world so far happened quietly. Michael Saylor transferred 100,077 bitcoins to Fidelity, total value 16.5 billion. And they say that they transferred this to Fidelity because they will they will sell the Bitcoin. I don't know, what do you think? For me, I read that this super fad, that is just this is something that is some regular thing with the custody, but I don't know, what do you think, guys?
I mean, I didn't delve into this news, but again, it's not a news for me. First, those accounts with no face, with no nothing, with just like picture of whatever, it's not very trustworthy. And moreover, I mean, he didn't say nothing. I mean, maybe he's implying that Strategy is about to sell this 177,000 BTC, which is totally wrong, which is complete, created by this account. So again, we need to just go back to first principle and use reason. Strategy has 650,000 Bitcoin. They have 21 months of dividend coverage. They said that eventually they will sell Bitcoin only if Bitcoin stay flat for the next 50 years. So I'm fine with whatever they do. If they do this because they need to update or remove an old address to new one because of custodial services, or they want to migrate Fidelity to Coinbase or to Coinbase to another one, they are 100% entitled to do so. But yet, thinking that they are about to sell those Bitcoin because they move it, it's nonsense.
Yeah, totally agree.
Total nonsense, yeah.
I agree with you. With people needs to understand who to follow on X.
Yeah.
But everyone. X is like a crazy place where everyone is saying different things. I think that you need to start with people who has a reputation, like the guys from True North, not these crazy accounts that they just probably drop things just to
They
get
just
views.
want to have likes and to make $12 from Twitter, probably. I don't know.
Yes.
So there was two things that I wanted to comment. One is a few months ago, Sailor was pushed into saying that they have to have proof of reserves. Remember, there was for a few weeks this fact that as Binance or some other exchange were doing this proof of reserve system, why Strategy was not doing. The answer from Sailor was, we are not doing that because exactly this. When they detect that coins are moved from one side to the other one,
it will be a mess.
In this fact
about
well, it's going to be sold or whatever.
Great point. Yes.
So, and the other thing is, just more general, this is kind of common that someone will try to pretend it's a news that saying a whale just sold, I don't know, 10,000 bitcoins, drop into Binance, whatever. So implying that someone is dropping coins or the price is going to tank. As it might be partially true, it also could be that someone is dropping coin here and selling them here, and buying here and selling them here. So it might be just part of an arbitrage. And as you
Could
see
be.
in only one side, you might say, well, he's selling. Or maybe he's buying the same thing on the other side. You didn't see it. So this is, I think, more common than people think. Every time you see news like that, when a whale dropped so many coins, think twice. If someone is dropping, on the other hand, someone is buying it. It's not dropping it into the basement, right? So
Into
there is
nothing. Yeah.
always two sides of a trade. So that was my
Yeah.
point about that.
Yeah, I think the same. And again, I point just for a lot of people on X are there to generate likes, engagement, to do some monetization. Probably they are guys, I don't know, in any country that with the 100, 200 US dollars of monetization, they make good money. For them, it's good money. Follow to the people who is trustworthy. I'm not even saying follow us. There are a lot of people who are really legit, like the guys from True North. Go there, or in case, go to Sailor, go to, I don't know if Fong Lee has Twitter or is active on Twitter.
He's not. I mean, he has an account, but he's not active. So.
That's go to the first principle, go to the basis, and
But
yeah.
yeah, no, yeah. But when I think about this, for me, it's go back to very very simple basic. If you complain about strategy all the time, you probably don't understand first Bitcoin. So first go back to Bitcoin, maybe you miss something over there. And again, if you are still like fully convinced that Bitcoin is the only thing that makes sense, and to me, and I think guys to you as well, is the best asset that you can hold, even greater than strategy because of other properties, just stay with Bitcoin. Don't buy levered company. Don't buy these other entities if you are not safe. Because again, for me, it's quite simple to understand the business model of strategy, much simpler than Meta, than Nvidia. I don't understand nothing about this level of technology, and now Nvidia is about to. They took the word, but I don't understand the complexity behind it. I understand the complexity behind strategy, much easier for me. So for me, it's a screaming buy MSTR. But again, if you are not confident, just stick with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the innovation. Bitcoin is the real technology that allow you to be self-sovereign of your time, of your energy, and you can use it wherever you want without intermediaries. So it's outside the system. Strategy is still inside the system, trying to do new stuff and try to build their own model on Bitcoin, but they are still a fiat derivatives. Bitcoin is not. So if you don't understand what we are saying, or you don't understand strategy, you are entitled not to buy and just stack more Satoshi, which is the real innovation here.
Yes, and if you are not happy or you are in doubt, no financial advice, sell. I want to do a parallel with something that happened to us last year. We started doing business with some guys from Argentina, and the guys from Argentina left their job. And of course, when you start a new business, things don't go good. You don't make
Yeah,
money. You lose more money than the money you make. And when we were doing the calls, one of the guys was super stressed, super crazy. He was having health issues. And Diego said, if you are suffering,
yeah.
just
Don't do it.
stop doing business and go back to your job.
Yeah,
So this is the same. If you are suffering, if you are in pain, if you are not happy, just probably strategy is not for you, investing is not for you, or Bitcoin is not for you. Just go and buy an index or just stack US dollars. The point is, if you stack dollars, you need to be aware that you are stacking a melting cube, something that loses value every day. And now it's not anymore optional to invest. In the past, investing was optional in the era of my dad and my mom or our grandfathers. Now, investing is mandatory. Otherwise, your money will lose your value time by time. But to invest, you need to understand what you want and also study a lot to do the good things. So That's my 2 cents on
And
that.
do nothing for the most of time. Do nothing. If you understand what you bought, just do nothing. Don't every 3 months rebalance, buy here, sell there. I read this article. I changed my thesis. If you understand something, just buy, hold it for at least 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, and that's it. Just work more, save more, invest what you can in something that. And for us, this something is Bitcoin, and then eventually some more exposure with levered plays like strategy. But first is Bitcoin. First and only is Bitcoin. If you haven't done the proper work on Bitcoin, all the rest seems scary, seems Ponzi, seems fraud. But go back to Bitcoin, study 10, 100 more hours, and then maybe you can reevaluate those companies.
Yeah, at the end of the day,
This company strategy, because all the rest I'm always still skeptical about it, but strategy is a different beast. So
at the end of the day, strategy, even though they are back on Bitcoin, for the investor point of view, is still a fiat game.
it
You
is.
put money there to have more fiat.
It is.
So that's the thing, and you believe on Sailor's plan and in the premium and them nav and all the things. Bitcoin is a totally different game. So that's my 2 cents. I don't know if you want to.
No, I totally agree. I just wanted to come into a different question, to be a little bit philosophical about this. I was watching a post from Fred Krueger. I was trying to share it here, but I couldn't find it to share. But I'm gonna read it. So he put something like, the people calling for self-custody at all costs are not helping Bitcoin. The ETFs and MSTR are. Thoughts, Marco?
I would say it depends, because if I have to explain self custody with I don't know, a ledger or an hardware wallet to my father, or to like people that are not tech or are not oriented to some new innovation, probably the answer is what are you telling me? It's a no, 100% no. So in some category, or for some investors, or for some cluster of people and age, it might take much more sense to go via an ETF or via an MSTR, because it's already within the tools that they have or that they know via the bank or via the brokerage and etc. So I agree that if we want to scale to really 8 billion people and to have like trillions and trillions of dollars coming in, we need to open to also these other instruments. If you ask me personally or to the young generation, I think ETF is a no. MSTR, if you really understand Bitcoin and you are satisfied with your Bitcoin stack, might be an option. But the most important thing is to buy Bitcoin and learn how to self-custody, learn how to do the proper things. If you are really into it, try to run a node. If you're really into it, try to go and try to understand also a bit the tech behind it. But if you are like 60 plus and you are not very oriented to tech or to new innovation or to open a new account and do, because again, open like Binance or Coinbase and do everything, it's not easy if you are not used to this stuff. So ETF are very useful, but if you ask me fundamentally and philosophically, ETF it's not Bitcoin.
Of course, it's not, but that's a discussion that we have with Diego every time, because especially now when we went to Argentina and we've been in the conference of Argentina and we spoke to the real OGs from Argentina, and what you see on many OGs that they are more thinking about the hyper Bitcoinization on the way that create circular economies, paying with Bitcoin and all this stuff, creating stuff to pay in Bitcoin. And we say that the hyper Bitcoinization will come with a big money from Wall Street. So that's the point. You need to understand that if you buy an ETF, that if you buy a strategy, you are not buying Bitcoin for sure.
But I'm gonna play devil's advocate. If my grandma decide to buy IBIT, why would she care?
That's the point.
If it is Bitcoin or it's not Bitcoin?
No, I agree.
Right. So it's two different. The point is, these two completely different audiences.
Yeah.
You have, let's run some numbers. I don't have it precisely, but let's assume it's around there. How many Bitcoiners are out there?
Well, I read today that I don't know if it's update these statistics, but the adoption is 4.7%.
But in terms of how many people, I think the number was somewhere around 100 million.
Probably, yeah.
Do you, Marco, remember something like that?
I think no, I think the number is higher, but my point is I don't care about only the people, because if each one of us only converts 1% of their capital into Bitcoin, that's not a real big changer. I would prefer to see 100 million people with 20%, 50% of allocation. Then it would make sense. If we are 1 billion people with 1% allocation, Bitcoin it's not succeeding, you know. So in my view, it's okay. It's important the number of accounts, but also how much of your net worth is in Bitcoin. This percentage. This is much more complicated to know. And for me, when I see 200 million people owning Bitcoin, it doesn't make any sense to me, because you can have like $100 and you are, yeah, I am a Bitcoiner. No, you're not. So
I was coming from a little bit different angle. Let's assume it's 200 million.
yeah, around it, yeah.
Users. From these 200 millions, imagine how many, just from the random talks that you have with people, how many of those actually know what the hell is a node or hash rate, versus the people that just buy this Bitcoin because they wanted to be rich or they wanted to trade it. So my assumption is people who are very technical and very passionate about this self-custody, run a node, learn all the technical aspects, could probably be less than 1% of these 200 million. So do you see, it's a niche inside a niche.
Yeah.
It's not going to be enough to get through massive adoption with these people. If your only message is, let's run a node, let's do self-custody, let's
learn conjoin,
do the VPN thing, hide your face, we're never going to reach mass adoption. On the other hand, it's very easy to reach mass adoption if we have IBITs, MicroStrategy, governments, sovereign funds. So do you see, my approach is, I'm obviously pro running a node, having self-custody, all of that. I totally agree. But I don't think that's going to lead us to mass adoption. And I prefer to get into mass adoption faster. And that's going to be from the bottom up, not from the down up.
Yes, this is the discussion. If the ultramaxis, they say that Bitcoin must be used, you need to pay with Bitcoin, otherwise you're not a Bitcoiner. And I think I see the romantic way of that. I love paying with Bitcoin when I go to a conference or whatever. But imagine explaining to the people that they need to use a Lightning wallet when they have a lot of different methods. Here in Hong
Doesn't
Kong,
make sense.
you can pay with a QR, and people say, but why do I need to do this? And if I can pay, it's the same that, for example, Alipay or WeChat Pay. And you can explain, but oh no, but this is real money. And for the guy say, for me, it's real money. I'm paying. I'm paying. So I think that yes, I want to reach the massive adoption faster, and I think that we need more IBIT, more sailors to catch the money from the banks and turn into Bitcoin.
Because once we reach that level, now it's inevitable for everybody else down there. Otherwise, if we try to fight from the bottom to up, it's a more difficult fight. You're not going to convince my grandmother to run an node or to download the Lightning wallet to pay for something. It's not going to happen. There's never going to be people interested in Bitcoin.
Yeah, no, I agree.
If we reach a point where hyper-Bitcoinization came because all Wall Street now has companies holding Bitcoin, and now it's obvious for everybody. Now maybe you can think about, well, now we can push the Lightning Network or some other technical topics for the people who are interested. But most people don't even care.
I think that's the beauty of Bitcoin, because each one of us has its own perspective on Bitcoin or perception of what Bitcoin is. For me, for example, I don't care if Bitcoin will succeed as a mean of payment. If I have to go and buy coffee with Bitcoin, I don't care. I much more prefer, like, my 95% idea of Bitcoin is store of value, is that something that cannot be corrupted, that it should not change and should be immanent, because it's how I want to live my life in the future, knowing that I have a portion of my capital that is uncorruptible and nobody can steal from me. So for me, it's much more important that those features are kept, rather than doing the means of payment. I mean, I like Jack Dorsey, but for me, Bitcoin is not failing if it's not used as a mean of payment. As long as it keeps the store of value narrative and is working for like 8 billion people as saving technology. I don't care if I cannot buy coffee. But again, for other person, it's like the most important thing. And that's for me the beauty. Nobody will know what's exactly is Bitcoin, because each one of us has different idea behind it. And for me, again, it's very important that we keep this idea that is responsibility on us. And that's why maybe I still believe that it's important to have the self-custody. Because imagine in 10 years, we just gave everything to Sailor and to ETF and Wall Street and big institution and sovereign fund. Yeah, maybe Bitcoin is 1 million, but at the end of the day, if we just have the wrappers, or we have the ETF, or we have the MicroStrategy, we are all still trapped in the fiat mentality. We have more dollars, yes, but we are all still in this kind of fiat mentality that is at the end of the day government backed. So that's why I still think that it's important to, even if it's more complicated, if it's more hard, to go back to the real roots of Bitcoin and still try to preach those features. But I agree with you, Diego. It's for the hyper Bitcoinization is we need to go on the other side as well. So
Yeah, no, we are totally agree on the thing with self custody and everything else. The only difference is I think the approach that we the people that are trying to communicate this have, which is first we need to get there. We need to get to the level where anyone you talk on the street, they know what is Bitcoin, and you're not going to convince someone who doesn't know, have no idea, have no interest, if your first pitch is too technical. The other day we were watching with Fernando. Someone did an interview in Columbia University, was in Canada. I don't remember what university, but let's say the top one finance university
Yes.
in Canada.
Yeah, the top one finance university.
So the guy went there with the label saying, "What is money?" and the Bitcoin logo. So that's the proper question in that environment.
mm-hmm.
So he started asking finance students if they first what is money and what is inflation, basic questions, and then if they know what is Bitcoin. In that university, half of the people don't even know what Bitcoin is. The other half don't even know what inflation is. They cannot describe it.
Yeah.
The other half don't even know that they can pay with Bitcoin. And this is highly educated people. Now try to do the same interview in a random supermarket in a small town in Italy. How many people will have any idea of this? So how are you going to approach them by you have to self-custody because this is money?
Yeah,
I mean, they're not
that's
going to
true.
get it there.
No way. That's
That's
the
true.
cultural battle. That's the cultural battle that we need to give, I think so.
But just to conclude on this point, because it's very interesting, maybe we should do another one only on the philosophy of Bitcoin and not delve into the news, etc. But my other point is, in the future, I think in the next decade, most people will use Bitcoin without knowing it. For example, if you have to do remittances, if you are like working in the US, you need to send money back to Colombia or to another place, you will just use an app that is beautiful. You just need to send like $2,000. You don't even know that on the back end it's working on Bitcoin. Or
That's
yeah, so that's my point. But I still think the real success of Bitcoin is still of trying to educate and try to teach people that it's complicated, because the actual financial system is super complicated, is super with so many layers, and actually we don't know how it's working. You just go, you use the credit card, boom. So we need to explain to people that it's much more complicated, and then when they start to frame and understand these points, maybe they understand better what's inflation. They understand better why there is commission fees on everything, why it takes times to spend money from one point to another, why the merchant, every time it received the payment with credit cards, needs to leave on the table 2, 3, 4%. So I think we need to tackle it from many different angles, and all the angles are positive as long as we try to explain Bitcoin. So it's a collective effort on every side.
Yeah, but when the day that people start using Bitcoin without knowing how does it work,
That's the winning day.
that's the winning day.
That's the winning day, yeah. True.
That's the point. Now people go and pay with this QR code, and they don't even know what is
That's the
happening.
point.
They
Yeah.
they go to the supermarket, they buy the food, they buy the groceries, and they pay, and they can take the groceries home.
That's it. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. So if you say no, if you pay with Lightning is real and what you is not real, they say I'm taking the groceries home. Nobody's putting me on jail, so I'm paying real. So that's when Bitcoin wins.
Also, another analogy, little analogy, just to close this topic. It's in the shitcoin war. I'm gonna talk positively about Solana, because when all this metaverse and NFT revolution start showing up in 2021 or 2020, the main wallet was how's the name?
MetaMask.
MetaMask. For the people who try to run that shit, it's a total mess. You run into bugs all the time, bugs and technical problems. For example, you try to sign the wallet into a new Web3 page, and it will ask you to sign to approve that you are connecting to that page, and then sign again if you're sending a transaction. So it was something more developed for developers than for people. Developers understand, and it's just easy. You should do
It's easy, yeah. But not for the normal man. Yeah.
Nobody can understand that shit. And then the evolution of that was Solana, because now when you see Solana apps, you don't have any of that. It's super smooth. So what they did properly was to make apps that are user friendly for everybody without knowing what is happening on the back end. So that's when probably hyper-reconization happened. Eventually, maybe we can still pay with Alipay, but in the back end, in 10 years,
Is Bitcoin.
it's running through the Bitcoin network.
Yes.
So that would be a positive outcome.
I don't think if Alipay is gonna run on the Bitcoin network.
Alipay probably gonna be dead by the time.
But yeah, let's see. So guys, I think it was a great conversation. I think that I don't know what's gonna happen in the next week, but Christmas is coming, markets are quiet, so probably in the next coming week we can do a full show with all this philosophical talk, all these discussions that must be done to boost the hyper-Bitcoinization. So anything else you want to add, guys?
No, I think we went pretty long already, so it's
we went pretty long. So Marco, thank you very much for being with us. For our audience, how's your social media?
On X, Batistoshi93, you can find me there. And
Perfect.
yeah, guys, thank you. And it was a very nice episode today with the studio and with some more topics. So it was nice.
With the
bull,
yeah.
Yeah, with the bull.
For the audience, sorry for the inconvenience with the camera. We are setting up. We are getting better day by day. If you see, because now you cannot see because the channel have been taken down, but how all of this started 2 years ago, you see the evolution. And on this topic, I want to quote someone I want to pick a quote from some shitcoiners, but they do a great show, that the First Million, the guys from Milk Road, that they say, if what you are launching doesn't embarrass you, you're launching late. So, and another quote from a guy, from a marketer called Charles Go, is that it's better an imperfect plan launched today is much better than a perfect plan launched next week. So we will be improving with each episode. I urge the audience to comment whatever thing you think we can improve, and we are getting better, and we are happy, to provide a better product and better content time by time. Marco, thank you very much. Diego, thank you very much.
See you, Marco.
And
yeah, sure.
And thank you very much to everyone who is on the other side. If you like the episode, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, follow us on social media, comment our episode with good things, with bad things, because this helps us improve and helps a lot in our quest to paint orange the world. Share this episode with the people you love, share this episode with the people you hate, because we must reach 8 billion people and give them the orange pill. See you in the next episode of our podcast. Stay humble, stack sats, and remember, we are all Satoshi. And that's all for today. If you like the episode, please give us a like, subscribe to our channel, follow us on social media. Our X account is the Bitcoin _. Our YouTube channel is the Libertarian BTC. Our YouTube channel in Spanish is Libertarian BTC ESP. Our Patreon, the Bitcoin Libertarian. Our Instagram, the Bitcoin Libertarian. That's all. You can go there and follow us in all our social media.